Okay, I'm back. So if I can figure out how to combine these videos, it'll still be 2, but if not, it might be 2 and 3. So, oh, I forgot to tell you. So we talked about Ann Woods, and the minute I finish charting Ann, which I hope to have ready to release at the expo the end of August, I'm going to start stitching a new autumn-themed small. It looks like a little book and is self-lined with a pocket inside. I downsized one of my antique samplers featuring a house and a very interesting fence and trees for the front cover of this little book, and I've added some pumpkins. I'll be using lots of different stitches and have designed 2 companion smalls. I love samplers, but I'm actually obsessed with smalls, and I can't wait to get started on that. So let me tell you about this new sampler that just arrived. I told myself I wasn't going to buy any more samplers so I could focus on saving up to go to Nicola's Great British Sampler Weekend next year. Going to the UK with stitching friends has been a long-held dream, so I'm so excited and hoping to do some side trips to other needlework dream destinations while I'm there. What can I say? The sampler I'm about to show you popped into my email from an auction site I've purchased from before, and my mouth literally dropped open. I wasn't even looking for samplers. There it was. What could I do? I tried to resist, but then I realized that the sampler might be a perfect teaching piece. I immediately thought about using some of the motifs combined with other fancy stitches in the design of a companion pocketbook, and I could use one of the antique pocketbooks that I bought from Mary Cox when I was teaching in Mesa for Jean Lee. So, because this sampler is so interesting and unusual, I think it would be a teaching piece, and I couldn't resist. I actually sketched out a design for the pocketbook. I bought it. I won't be able to find the stitcher because she didn't give me her full name. The antique dealer is sending me additional information about the sampler. She believes that it's English. The stitches include cross, satin, and stem, and Jay Salter has put them together in such an interesting manner. She has outlined her floral pattern border in cross stitches, and then has filled in with satin stitches going in various directions. It's almost like coloring within the lines, and the lines are cross stitch. She used a long loose stem stitch as an outline within some of these flowers, which is also interesting. It has rabbits and butterflies on it too. What can I say? In some areas, like the tree in the center that I'll show you, the land down at the bottom has cross stitch, but then there's a satin stitch under that. So it's a very interesting piece and so unusual. And the verse is, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Hang on, let me get it and I'll show it to you. Just a second. It's not huge, but it's a little awkward. Okay, I'm bringing it over. Here we go. See if I can get closer. The silks are absolutely luminous. They're the butterflies and the rabbits. It's so unusual. I have several English samplers, but I don't have one like this at all. So, if plans work out, that could be a teaching piece. It's really a lovely sampler. Set it up here. Maybe you can still see it and it won't fall on the floor. Okay, what else? Are you familiar with Joe Dowden, D-O-W-D-E-N? He goes by Oval Boxman on Etsy. He lives in Stafford Springs, Connecticut, and I contacted him decades ago when I wanted a reproduction of one of my shaker sewing baskets made. He did a beautiful job. He is on Etsy, and his website is www.ovalboxman.com. I order from him now and then, and I fell in love with a gorgeous bird's eye shaker oval stitchers tray and ordered that, and it arrived yesterday along with a maple and poplar bureau tray. Let me show them to you. Here's the tray, the deeper one. It's full of little shoes. I'll show you in a second. But it's going to be living happily on my top of my stitching table to keep things from falling over the edges. Okay, so he has so many beautiful shaker boxes and baskets and just everything you can imagine. Lovely in all different sizes and different woods. He has lots of awards. He's quite an accomplished craftsman. And that is www.ovalboxman.com if you want to see his things. So I had the nicest surprise. Debbie took my sampler class and my Sampler Stories Huswith in January when I was teaching at the attic, and she fell in love with some of my other smalls, and she asked me if I would come and teach them in October in Buffalo, and I said I would love to. And you can see the pieces on my website, Gentle Pursuit Designs. It is the Salem Scenes sewing set and Eliza's pocketbook. I'm expecting to get the class list August 6th, so there may be still time to enroll, because they asked me if I would teach in person and on Zoom at the same time, and I agreed to do that after we talked a little bit about the technical aspects of how that would work. Well, she sent me the sweetest surprise, and she said it was a thank you for agreeing to do those things that they had asked me to do. Is this the sweetest thing? It's a little felted wool needle book, and it has a little clip, and it opens up. That was so sweet of her. You can email me at sissy2449@gmail.com if you would like contact information for the class. We'll be Zooming an antique lecture. That's a 2-hour Sampler Stories lecture that talks all about the history of sampler making, primarily identification keys for Scottish samplers and for English samplers. And I'll have a lot of samplers, posters, and keynote to show with that. And then I'm doing my Sampler Stories Huswith, and then the Salem Scenes projects, and Eliza's pocketbook. So we'll have a lot of possibilities, and they'll be online on Zoom as well as in person. So last time we met, I showed you a little Victorian sewing shoe that I had adapted from an antique, but I didn't have the antique with me. So we talked about we would look at shoes next time we were together. So I have a bunch of them right here, and I want to show some of them to you. So this is so funny. Look at this. This huge thing you would hang on the wall. It's some sort of a monster pin cushion. It is really, really big, with pretty bows all over the top and little velvet pom-poms. And in contrast, let me bring this one closer. Look at this one. This one is silk, but they're the same color. This is a little bitty pin cushion and a monster one. So I wanted to show those to you. And let's see what else. here is another one along those same lines in a burgundy velvet, and it has yellow ribbons and a little yellow silk drawstring bag on top. Here is a small piece I adore. Look at that, it's so dainty and delicate. I tried to make one like it, but mine isn't quite as pretty. Several years ago, I made this one. And I made a tiny needle book to go with it. Grace and peace to you, with nun stitch all around. Okay, so what else? Let's see. Here is a little silk pinwheel with a bow, and it has French knot buttons on the top, and all around the edges it has a very beautiful buttonhole stitch that ties it all together. I wish I could stitch like that. And here is one that looks like a velvet shoe with pretty buttons, but you flip it up and it has scissors and a thimble inside and a pin cushion on top. Here is one that's very rare that started off my love of these little shoes. So it holds the spools of thread and the ribbon is wound through it. So when you stitch, you would just pull the ribbon and it would pull the thread and it would roll in place on the ribbons. And it has the tiniest strawberry. You can't see it very well, I'm sure, but it's a teeny, teeny strawberry on the front. And this is a shaker piece. And then it opens and there's a beautiful little edged needle page inside. The stitching on that is just lovely. See? And that inspired me to make some, and this is one of my favorites. This was in Sampler and Antique Needlework Quarterly a long time ago, but it opens with a little needle page inside. And let's see, what else do I have? Ooh, it's hot out here. Here is another shaker piece. This one it's a little different, and it has blue silk lining and beautifully edged needle page inside. I actually have a Scottish sampler that is mostly taupes and blues, and I thought when I reproduced that one I would love to use this for a little companion piece. And then the last of the large shoes I'll show you is this Victorian piece that I modeled my class on. So it has a thimble spot in the back, and then you move this bow and there's an emery in the middle. There's a hole in the top of the shoe, and then it pulls down to reveal a needle page in the sole, and the heel also opens. So that's a class, my adaptation is a class piece. Okay, so that's a lot of the larger shoes, and then I have a whole bunch of little ones in this tray. I'll just show you a few of them. I'll take a picture of them and post it. But there are several of them that are made of metal, and I keep them in a little display cabinet. Here's one that looks like a gentleman's shoe. And then here's a sassier one. Can't really show them very well. And we've got baby shoe pin cushions. And these little thimble shoes are my favorites. Look at these. They have a little embroidery on top. I can't really show them very well. There we go. They're just the very same pattern. Isn't that sweet? So that's shoes. And then these are in my little display piece too, because these little pairs, my grandma Bailey made these for me when I was born. So they're in there too. So I hope I haven't kept you too long. Hope it's cooler where you are than it is here. Woo. So I appreciate your joining me. I will look at this and post it. I actually had a dream last night that Nicola came and showed me how to edit these things and post pictures on them and words, which would be lovely, but I woke up and it wasn't true. Maybe when we're together she can give me a class. The next time I come next month, what shall we talk about? With luck, I'll be able to show you the Ann Wood sampler charts and my stitched autumn compendium and smalls. Would you like to look at more antiques? We could do shaker pieces or purses, needle books, needle rolls. Shoot me an email, cissy2449@gmail.com if you have an opinion on what you would like to see. And thank you so very much for being with me. I appreciate it, and please take good care of yourselves until we're together again. Thank you. Bye-bye.